Well, good evening, friends. This is Mike Mitchell. You can see I'm not in my office at the moment. I got Wi-Fi issues, so I came to the other room at my wife's desk so I'd be close to the router so I could have better video and it wouldn't phase out on me in the middle of it. As I was heading to work this morning, I was listening to NPR just for some background, getting information of what was going to happen during the day. And there was a story, and it reminded me that I didn't finish yesterday. Yesterday I talked about the cost of working, and I mostly talked about the cost of finding a job and the thousands of dollars that you're going to spend trying to find the right job that probably is not going to pay you what you want them to pay you. You probably think you're worth more than what they're willing to pay, and you probably are. They're going to get you for as little as they can, and that's the nature of the game. So you're losing some of your value because you're selling it off at a discount to an employer. And then that employer pays you, but withholds, on behalf of the government, withholds a substantial portion of your earnings for taxes, which are the privilege of working. And then you take the remainder and you pay for your car and your house, which are necessities to get to work and to be refreshed overnight so that you can get to work. And so those are costs that are eating into your lifestyle because you have a job that's outside the house. Now, so do I. And I love my job. I made progress today. I changed the way some things are interpreted. I have a paper that's ready and I'm going to submit it tomorrow that I think is going to solve a thorny contractual problem that we've been hassling over for over a year. I think I understand it. I think I've looked at it deeply enough. I think I understand. And so I'm going to make a presentation and we're going to see how well I have described it. Let's see if I've described the issue well enough and the solution well enough. But it takes time. And I would rather be here doing other writing, digging into my library, refreshing what I'm doing. While I was at the doctor yesterday, I sat through and wrote out the outline for another training course, but I don't have time to deliver it. I don't have time to work on it. I've got a book that's just burning to get out, but I'm not quite smart enough to write that book yet. And I need to do some research. I just don't have time to do that because my job occupies most of my time. And then some other things I'm doing for church and for my wife are occupying the rest of it. But I'm taking time out. Thank you, Kenny, for joining us. Let me get into what I didn't say last night. I reminded you again of the taxes paid before the income arrives and the costs of getting yourself ready so that you have to. It's not nice to wear the same shirt day after day after day. And I mean, you could own one or two shirts and launder it at least every other day, but you're probably going to buy multiple different shirts and wear completely clean clothes every day, especially if you're going to be around people. But if you're at home, you could get by with wearing the same thing every day. Maybe you've got fewer changes of clothes because who's going to see you? You also, when you have a job, you lose time freedom. And that's my biggest problem is, again, I don't have the time to do what I need to be doing. There was a community meeting today that I really wanted to go to, but we had a email came in and said there's a tasker that's due. We should have had it a week ago. They forgot about us. It's due at 2:00 today. I'm the expert on that issue. Guess what I did with my lunch hour? I did not go to the community meeting. I worked on that task because I want to keep this job until I'm ready to leave on my own terms. But it kept me from doing what I really wanted to do and thought I could add value to the community. So a job costs you taxes, it costs you time freedom, it costs you the expenses of working. And then NPR. NPR on the way launched off on that the tax system itself, they said it was racist. I'm not sure I agree with that, but they did say one thing that I agree with: it favors the rich. Now, the way they got from rich to racist is they said most rich people are white people and most poor people are not. I'm not sure I agree with that, and not real sure that it has anything to do with skin color. It does have a lot to do with the training that's passed on, because the other article this morning talked about, while I was getting ready for work, we talked about how the richer schools are able to teach more civics, that are able to teach more topics that are useful in life than the poor schools. But again, it has a lot to do with income, not other factors. And tax system does favor the rich because the rich have the ability to use the tax system. What I've been told is the poor read the tabloids, the rich read the tax codes. I have a couple of books by lawyers or by accountants that help me peel away the tax code. And then I go, because I'm experienced at reading government regulations, I go into the regulation myself and make sure that I fully understand what it was that they told me and that the law has not changed since they wrote it. But there's a lot of benefits for having a business. I mean, the key one is mileage. If I had gone to the meeting today and found a way to connect it to my home-based writing consulting business, 15 miles each way times 58 cents a mile would have paid me a tax deduction of, let's see, math in public, $3. Okay, it's only $3. But I've been keeping track every day this year, and I'm well over a couple of thousand miles in doing these kinds of business activities. So doing things that I enjoy and getting a reimbursement for them by the mileage I use in my car. I've got a friend, we were talking Saturday night, he drives for Uber. All of those miles are deductible in addition to the payment that he gets as an independent consultant. So he gets to deduct the cost of those miles, which almost doubles his pay. Plus, you have the benefit of the home office. Now, I can't take this space because this is not where I regularly do work. This is more of a common area. Back in my office, those square footage of where my books are and where my desk is and where I do my work is, the IRS says you can do it either as a percentage of the house and take all of the bills of the house and take that percentage. Trouble is, mine works out about 8% of the total square footage of this house, and 8% of the bills, the utilities, and I don't really have a very low mortgage on this because I was able to buy it at a discount and with mostly cash. And the other expenses of running the house, again, this is a fairly low cost area that I'm living in, trying to save cash, trying to repay my past debts. 8% of that doesn't really amount to a whole lot of money. But the IRS has a simplified method of $5 per square foot. And just how many square feet times 5, that's your home office deduction, and you don't have to keep any other records of all the repairs and all of. I don't have to amortize the portion of this that's a long-term capital improvement versus a day-by-day maintenance activity. You don't have to mess with any of that. You just say, how big is my space? My space is, fortunately, I'm on a fairly large house. This is a section in the basement. I've got extra room in the basement. It's, what did I figure, 80 square feet times 5. There's a $400 tax deduction just for having an office in which I do business. And I do primarily business in that space. And I do other things in other spaces. And so just having a business saves me on my taxes. Just having a business, when I go to community meetings to advertise myself as a writer, pays me money. If I were to go to another meeting and advertise my network marketing services, those also are deductible. The trip I did to Florida a few weeks ago, that was for the purpose of increasing my network marketing business, and that is a 100% tax deductible. In fact, I am able to deduct more than I actually spent because I get to deduct the mileage to the airport and per diem for the daily food while I was there, not just the cost of the meals. IRS does allow a per diem for being on the road. Further than 50 miles is the legal part. And so what the article in NPR said, and I've got my cheat sheet tonight so I don't forget it, I was about ready to. It said that taxes are rich because the tax favors the rich because they tend to either have a business that gives them all of these extra deductions, or they own real estate, which gives them deductions. I mean, if you have your primary owned house, you can deduct the taxes that you pay on that house, and you can deduct the mortgage on your primary residence. And you can, if you did a second mortgage on your house for the purpose of improving the house, you can deduct that. If you did it just to pay off some old bills, the laws change and you can't really deduct that anymore. Or investments. Now, the trouble with real estate as a business is that it takes money to get started. If you want to do investments, it takes a lot of money to kick off enough return to actually do anything with. I mean, my savings are down on the level of the 1% interest rate. And that's good these days. I heard about one that's up to 3%. My money in the stock market, I do have some, my 401 is in the stock market and it's earning 6 to 8%. But I can't live on that much yet because it's not a whole lot of base. So if you're rich, you can invest in real estate and it can kick off rental income to keep you paying your own bills and living your own life. Or you can have investments that can throw off an income. If you're not rich, like I'm not rich, the third option is the business. Now, a lot of times if you're running a franchise business, it's going to take money. If you want to open up a storefront, it's going to take money. It's going to take money for the rent of the building or the purchase of the building. It's going to take money for the furnishings. It's going to take maybe some employees. You got to have some taxes. There's some mandatory fees. There's some advertising that you've got to do. You've got some just all kinds of consumable expenses. You got to have a bathroom. You got to have. There's a whole lot of expenses just to open the door, and they continue. The expenses are month after month after month. If you have a physical business, now some people do, and that's a good thing because I enjoy going to the gas station to fill up my car, and instead of hunting around who's got the gas, I don't want to drill my own well. Although, you know, if I had the money to, then that's another subject. The best thing for you and I is really to have a home business, because you can take advantages of all of the deductions that are offered to the rich that have a business. And you can get started for, depending on what you're doing, you get started for very little money. I know a home business that you can do for $20 to get started. Now, I would recommend that you spend more than that. What I would recommend is probably $100 a month to run the business as an ongoing expense. But still, $100 a month is probably within what you can find. And then you would approach friends and strangers and give them the opportunity to participate and improve their own well-being. And as you're doing that, your mileage to get to that location, all of the home office expenses are deductions. A lot of times the deductions of running a business, and you don't have to make a profit first. If it's a hobby, you're allowed to deduct the expenses up to the level of the income earned. But if it's a business, if you run it in a business-like fashion, you do it every day, you do it according to a system, you do it according to procedures. You take notes, you keep records. If you work it a business-like fashion, you're allowed to lose money every year. You're just a bad businessman. And the IRS allows you to deduct these kinds of expenses in running your business because you're trying to sell your services. Even now, I want you to talk to me about me signing you up into my business, because I believe it will make you money. And then the company will pay me to train you on how to make money. That's the magic of a multi-level company. It's not that I'm making money off of you. I'm making money from the company for training you so that you can be successful. That's how it works. That's the magic. And even if you only sell a piddling amount, look at the discount. Look at the discount you're getting on your taxes for having a business and working it in a business-like fashion. That's the cost, and I can't do it to the level that I need to because I have a job. As I got laid off once, and I walked into a team meeting and they said, "Congratulations, what does this make possible?" And they were right. During that time I was unemployed, I had time to go to networking meetings and to pitch my products and to recruit others. And I enjoyed the job so much, I had to come back. I found a place that would let me use these kinds of skills, change the way the Air Force does business. That's thrilling to me. But I'm looking for the day that I don't have to do that. And that's why I've created this business, to give me the time freedom to go on vacation if I want to go spend a week or a month or a year with my grandkids, to go and spend large chunks of time, not for a weekend mission trip, but go spend a month in another country and settle in with the local pastor and the local missionary and give them the instruction that I know how to do, whether it's Bible teaching or how to run a business. Maybe I teach an entrepreneurship seminar in that location for the purpose of drawing the audience who will also hear my church message and make that connection. And so there's a lot of benefits of having a business. Mike, thanks for joining. Please watch the replay. I think there's some good stuff here tonight. I'm going to Probably going to watch it myself and take some notes. Some of this was off the cuff. Some of it was just out of my own experience. And I'm going to take some notes and hopefully put this into something that's a little bit more formal. Because I think I know more than what I think I know. And I think I can help more people than what I think I can. And I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for staying with me for this presentation tonight. I will be back again tomorrow night, hopefully a little earlier, so that I can get up and get to work on time. I'm on Eastern time, and this is late for me. So thanks for watching. Be blessed. Let's have a conversation. This is Mike Mitchell. Good night.